Hello, Taurus. Welcome. This is your astrology and tarot reading for the month of April 2023. I'm so happy to have you guys here. It's a little experiment that I'm doing to see how this feels good to me. So I'm not promising right now that you would be seeing me every single month. But if doing this feels aligned to my heart and my soul, which I've just done one reading, I'm like, oh, this feels so good. Why haven't I been doing this for the past 2, 3 years? Um, and if I continue feeling that after 11 signs, then we are on for it. But Taurus, your astrology, specifically this month, you're going through a spiritual awakening. You're going through a spiritual reset. You are going through a kind of mystical experience which you haven't either ever or in a very long time. And when I say very long time, I mean like decades. So depending on how old you are, you might have or you might not have actually faced this. Um, but it's very new. It's very uncomfortable. Um, it's making you face a lot of truths, a lot of things which you thought are not existent in your world. You guys are super practical, super pragmatic. This otherworldly stuff, it's for the Neptunians, it's for the Pisces. And you have all these transits this month, the full moon, the moon, the sun, the Jupiter, Chiron, everybody's dancing in your 12th house. So it's obviously bringing in a lot of healing, a lot of aha moments, a lot of light bulb moments, a lot of shifts in your subconscious patterns, in the way you see things, in the way you perceive things, in the way you think about your childhood. Your whole life is in for a spiritual rehaul, like a reset, which makes sense, right? Because for so long you were out there in the world, and now this time you're sitting with yourself. Based on where you are, a lot of past life healing is actually happening right now for you. You might be aware of it consciously, you might not be. That's okay, it doesn't really matter. Be patient with yourself when this happens, because it always happens when you go through this spiritual awakening experience. It's happened with Aries. You have a thing to embody it, which you would be doing soon. So while the first half of the month, the full moon, and up until the new moon on the 20th, the energy is going to be very internal, and you might actually find yourself wanting to even express these experiences, but you might actually not be having the correct words, or you might not be finding the correct people or the correct energy to share these experiences, because it's not comfortable. It's not every day that Taurus goes through in a spiritual awakening. I mean, everybody goes through it at some point, but you guys know it, what I'm talking about. Only you guys can actually understand this. This is actually very uncomfortable. And for you to put words into it, it's even more uncomfortable. But you will be asked to embody this energy into your life. There's only for a limited period of time that somebody can have their spiritual life and their waking life. Their everyday life is separate. At some point, it kind of merges and becomes one. And you will be actually having the opportunity to embody it. So prepare yourself, because you cannot hide your truth. Like, once you've been through this, you're just not the same person anymore, right? So after the new moon, when the sun moves into Taurus, literally 15 minutes later, How interesting is that? And the focus comes on you, the sun shines on you. Then next day, Mercury goes retrograde in your sign. So Mercury will give you a chance to speak your truth, to share your experiences. But if you find it too jarring, too uncomfortable, it's okay. Retrograde time period will give you plenty of opportunity and time and space, which you may initially find very upsetting because retrograde upsets everyone. Like, but maybe you guys don't get so upset because you're so patient. Uh, so yeah, practice your patience when that happens, and know that if you're thinking about the past, if you're thinking about communicating to people in your past, if you're thinking about uh, sharing truths from your past, it's for a reason. Yeah, you are integrating those lost fragments. So yes, the second half of the month will actually see you trying to course correct, trying to integrate this spiritual knowledge into your life, you know, into your material life. Taurans can have a tendency to associate their self worth with their materialism. And it's okay, it makes you guys feel safe, but not your self worth, right? It shouldn't like come from that place. And if it does, you will be learning this month that it's not true. You are worthy, irrespective of where your finances stand. You are just worthy, period. Because I think we as humans need to know that all these all the things in the material realms, and I think you would especially vibe with it right now because you're in the spiritual realms and it's so interesting and fascinating, but also new and uncomfortable. But you guys would know that uh, all these things actually come and go. Uncomfortable. I know, but it's true. But these moments teach you how to build your character so that you know that you are beyond these things. They don't define you or your worth. And when that happens, it becomes so much easier to actually A, hold all these material things, but B, to not live in fear anymore of what if I lose them? What if I lose it? Because there's nothing more upsetting or fearful than losing your self-worth or living in this fear that if I lose this thing, who am I? It can be a very jarring trap for an earth sign like you, but we are breaking out of it. Okay. So some key dates that I would want you to, I mean, do watch the full April astrology video, but yeah, just going with it. Like the full moon happens in your sixth house. So take care of your health. Uh, think how your relationships can be a part of your everyday life. How can you include your connections, your relationships? How can you have all these time and space for these things while also having time and space for your everyday work, job, goals, ambitions? How can you balance the two? Uh, you might also be actually being be asked to look at with this full moon to look at like what makes you feel safe, and a lot of nervous system regulation. If that can happen, amazing. Like breathe or do a self-soothing practice if it feels super intense. You can check out my free meditations on Insight Timer. And God, I really feel heavy. Hmm. I really feel heavy doing your reading. Okay. I'm sending you guys so much love and compassion right now. Uh, but yes, six, we have the full moon in Libra, like really one thing that's really going to come up for you is how you've been choosing relationships which feel safe to you. But now that you can provide yourself your own safety through your own money, through your own resources, through your own emotional presence, through your own self, you've learned it, I think. How can you now actually form relationships out of love? Because I think you guys are seeing those relationships which you always reached out of safety, they haven't been very aligned. So Mercury is in Taurus. Um, Sun moves into Taurus, focuses on you, speak your truth, be authentic. You cannot run away from being authentic at this point. Those who come, come. Those who don't come, don't come. And sorry, that's the vibe. A little budget advice. Venus moves into Gemini, which is your second house. And that could be a little uncomfortable. So we look out for not splurging on things which you don't even like care about. Gemini energy for you can feel very uncomfortable. It can feel very anxious, and you might want to like having that transit happen in your second house. You might have a tendency to splurge out. So take care of that. And yeah, the eclipse is happening in your 12th house. There are lots of light bulb moments waiting for you guys. Start journaling if you haven't already. Meditate, write down your dreams, and yeah, connect to your higher self, your mystical side. It's you. It's in your chart. If you look at your astrology chart, 12th house is also you. There's nothing like some people are spiritual, some people are not. You guys are super spiritual. Earth signs might temporarily forget it, but you're part of the spirit. You're part of the all elements of the earth, of nature. So this is just a time to recollect your lost spiritual fragments. You have a lot of spiritual gifts as well, which might be actually showing up at this time, or your purpose, so your spiritual path, right? Let's read your cards. A lot of stuff came up through that, but I'm interested to see what do these cards say? I also feel like communication is big for you guys. Like all of this, yes, it's very emotionally vulnerable, but at the same time, it's really teaching you to reach out for support, to open your heart to receive support when you need to. Do you need to? Or do you need to just speak your truth? The heart wants what it wants. We do this reading in human design, sun transits the heart center. The heart is really about the ego wants, the desires. You want what you want, and there's no explanation for it. There's no excuse for it. Aries know that. We are in the Aries season still until the 20th. What do we have for Taurus? The card just flew. Okay. Knight of Swords. Is it you? Because we were talking about communicating. You guys have this intense desire, this speed, this energy to go with full force in some direction, to communicate. I mean, of course, if Mercury is in Taurus, you guys feel comfortable, right? That's your vibe. So, so if you have something to say, trust it. But at the same time, Know that the devil is also tempting you. Know that the devil is also looking at you and trying to get you back into old patterns, get you back into old ways of doing things. It knows where your addictions lie, it knows where you feel vulnerable or where you feel small. And it's probably gonna be now again, devil doesn't mean like devil. Or it may actually, it can come in the form of, it's just energy, right? And it can manifest in any form through anything or anyone. So this is why you're being asked this month to really connect with your higher self, with the universe, with God, whatever you believe in, because you are really ascending. And when we are like really ascending, the devil really tries its best to hold us back. Because, as I said, your speed is very apparent. It's there. The engines, it's like already started. You're like already ready to go. But the devil is like, mm-mm, I can't let you go so easily. All the doubts, all the maybes, this is where it's coming from. But you have something in your heart, but you know you want to go somewhere. And you know how they say, where there's a will, there's a way. There is a way. There is a way to head out in the direction that you desire to head out. If you truly believe in it, if you have the will in it. The heart center, the ego center, is also in human design the center of willpower. Do you have the will to cross the bridge? That rhymes. Do you have the will to cross the bridge? Do you want to get to the other side? Do you really want to reach the calmer waters? Do you really want to go where there's peace, where there's calm, where you know your home is? Because you've been mourning for a while. Because you've been like really grieving for a while for the what has lost, for that what is no more there. But you are being reminded through these spiritual recess, these spiritual aha moments, or even like actual events, tower moments, what we call in tarot, divine interventions, that stop crying over spilled milk and actually start remembering who you really are. No matter what the devil says, this is the card, this is the Hierophant. Who is Hierophant? Hierophant is the male counterpart of the High Priestess. And it's also the card of Taurus. You guys are super spiritual. Which world have you been living in? You're being reminded of your spiritual powers, your spiritual gifts, your spiritual knowledge. So I'm asking you to take notes, to journal. Your intuition is like so beautiful right now. There is a time for grieving, and then there's a time to get back on the throne. How long are you going to do this? You've got things to give. Remember, we just talked about in your astrological part. Taurans can have a tendency to associate their self worth with their material goods. But that's not what Hierophant thinks. That's not what a priest thinks. That's not what a spiritual king would think. They, you've got so much to give. You've got so much to give and to share. Can you open your heart and look at all the gifts and the resources and the love which is here to give, to share? I'm sorry to say this, but the universe is going to also say this to you, like this month. Where are you living in? You are so abundant. You are so gifted. You are so beautiful. I don't know what you think that you are. There's a term which we say in spirituality, poverty consciousness. Is it yours, or is it your family's, or is it your generational pattern? Because you are not. You've got so much, but you can only see it when you see your worth, not your bank balance. Even if you are doing good, even if you are financially abundant, it's never about how much money you have in your bank account. It's never about the car, the house, the anything. It's about how you feel about it. And when you feel good about it, you feel like an empress, when you feel like you're worthy of the empress, you're chill, you're relaxed, you're not worried, you're not waiting in anxiety, you're chill. And you guys are super chill. You are the epitome of being chill. Then what is all this mind game happening? It's time to leave certain things which are no longer serving you. I don't know who's going to ever tell you this, so I'm telling you this. There are things which need to be left behind if you want to walk towards. Okay. If you want to walk towards this, you have to walk away from this. You might think, oh, they are all beautiful cups, but they are broken cups. In another tarot deck which I have, all the cups are broken. And so this person recognizes that it might seem like you have a lot, and I should not practically turn away from it. But then you see it's actually fake promises or illusion or shiny objects. Because you've got your eye here, you've got your heart here. Yeah, and you know it. You know it. You want to be happy. This month, you will have the opportunity to get on that horse and to claim your happiness. Do you see that wreath on that wand? This one? It's a sign of fertility, abundance, success. It's used in on Christmas, I believe, to decorate, to put it on doors. Look for the spiritual symbolism of wreaths. I'm not a Christian, not the best person. But if you just look at this card, it just echoes so much of success, so much of abundance. It's like this homecoming. It feels very cheesy to give this example, but I would still want to give this example of like, I don't know if you guys are in tune with Ramayan, and those of you who are from India, you might be knowing it's like when Ram returned home, kind of a vibe, you know. And home is, when I say home, it means coming back to you. Maybe a physical space, maybe you're not, but definitely to your own heart, to your own being. What did I say when we started all of this? You can no more lie who you really are. Your authenticity has to shine. When you complete a journey in that cycle of like, it's your birthday season, right? Happy birthday, guys. Sorry, why didn't I start this video by wishing you guys happy birthday? Happy birthday. That's why months preceding our birthdays are so hard and painful sometimes, because it's like you're wrapping up, you are already fully coming full circle and into the 12th house of death. The 12th house is about rebirth and death. It's about the other side, what happens when you die, kind of for the vibe. That's why you meet God here. And so if you use this time, you can actually use it to meet your highest self, God's source right now, in this pain, even in this hard, confusing, weird times when the devil is like screaming at you for not doing things, for not being there where the ego feels it needs to be. Look at it. Journal after this. What are you letting go as the birthday comes? Yeah, birthdays are about new seeds, new slate. But as I said, I think I even said this to Aries. For something new to begin, something has to end. You have to walk away from something if you want to go in a new direction. To walk away from something if you want to cross the bridge. Do you have the will to cross the bridge? Patience, inner alchemy, and understanding your abandonment wounds. So, what you've been trying to fulfill with money or with any other material things, as I said, behind every fear is pain. Behind every negative pattern or any tendency to whatever is not in our highest alignment with heart, with our truth, we do that. We do those patterns. We have picked up those habits because we we are in pain, we are in fear, and there's a trauma there, there's a hurt there. When you address that abandonment wound, you no more would want to cling on to the material goods, to the material world, to the amount in your bank account, to feel safe. You find that safety when you close your eyes, in you, in the spirit, in the gods, in a higher power. This is definitely by far, I know I haven't even done the rest of it, but I know this is super powerful and super spiritual. So I hope this really resonates with you. I'm really hoping this brings you the peace, the comfort which you've been looking for. Um, I also want to like just remind you to just look at this Temperance card. You can Google it and see how this man has one foot on the waters and one on the earth. And it's just to remind you, you can live a life balancing the two. You don't have to always live in this way of bartering one for the other, bartering love for safety. Yep. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to check out my one-on-one sessions, you can check out the links down below. And Um, what else? Yeah, if you are a mystical nerd like me and you have been looking for resources, workshops, teaching guides, then you should definitely check out my membership, Jewel. It's my space of really sharing all the stuff, all the things, all the resources that I have gathered to heal myself, to heal my lineage, to support myself. There is human design, there's astrology, there are um, embodiment practices, meditations, EFTs, a lot of good stuff to learn from, to embody, to support yourself in this healing journey. So, by the end of this reading, I'm just so sad. Are you guys okay? Please call up a friend and know you're loved. Yeah, and you're beautiful, and you have so much of abundance to share with the world. And we're not even talking about the material. It's just you, just your energy. Sending you so much love. Take care. And I don't know if I'm going to see you next month right now. Let's hope for it. Take care.